Welcome to the Time Machine second hour edition with Jarrell Mason, better known as J Mace, playing the best of new and old school hip-hop, R&B, and everything else in between. With me on the phone right now, I have Miss Tess Taylor, president of the National Association of Record Industry Professionals. Miss Taylor, welcome to the Time Machine.
Thanks for having me, Jarrell. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing very excellently. Thank you so much.
Excellent. So how's everything in La La Land?
It's been a bit hotter than usual lately, but I can't complain. I think we've got less going on in Los Angeles these days than you guys do on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're all the same, even though there's a 3-hour difference. We're all under the same bond, which is the great United States of America.
That is correct.
All right, so go ahead and tell the people what made you want to get into the music industry and how did you earn your stripes?
How did I earn my stripes? Well, whatever my stripes are, I'll tell you, I came to this business in a kind of an odd way. I'm a classical pianist, and I studied music all my life, and I graduated with a degree in music, among other things. I went to the University of Redlands in California and the University of Vienna in Austria. Fabulous place to study music. But when it came time to graduate, I felt that I needed to make a decision about my future, and I decided that rather than get into a life of performing as a concert pianist, which I would have loved had it not required 6 or 7 hours a day for the rest of my life, I decided instead that I wanted to get into the music business and simply play for fun, which I still do, for a number of reasons. I didn't ever want to have my livelihood contingent upon someone else liking me or liking my material. I simply enjoy playing for the fun of it and didn't want to have any financials attached to that. And that's just a personal decision. So what I did instead is I got into the music business through networking. I found a friend of a friend in college who had a friend who worked at a major concert promoter at the time in Southern California. That promoter was Avalon Attractions, and I contacted this young lady and invited her to lunch, which turned into an internship for me, which then turned into a job, and I just had the time of my life because working at a concert promoter at that time meant that you had access basically to every spoke of the music industry wheel. When a concert is put on or promoted, the promoter is dealing with everybody in the music business, from the act itself to the manager, to radio, to press, to the record label, everything. And so it was a fantastic and very accelerated education in the music industry, all the players, etc. And the nice thing about being a concert promoter is that you have one thing that everybody wants, which is concert tickets to the show. So that basically was my start in the business, and it was hugely educational, and from a very early age I realized that it was important to really build a network of good people, because no matter how smart you are or no matter how ambitious, you need a really good team of people around you at all times, because you simply can't know all that there is to know. And so I have made a real effort from day one to always find out who the best people in the business are in all areas of the business, and to find a way to work with them in some way, shape, or form, so that I can be constantly building my own knowledge base and my own professional network, as it were.
And I'm sure back during your concert promoting days, you had a bunch of people like, oh, can I get free tickets?
Exactly.
Or do you think you give me backstage passes?
Exactly. And it was a fantastic job to have right out of college. I mean, here I am, this young kid, and certainly I don't want to pretend that I had enormous power there, but I did have a pair of tickets to every show, and that in itself is great power. So I learned very quickly how to sort of maneuver my way around and to identify who the real serious people in the business were. And as a result, being able to identify young, ambitious people like yourself, my dear Jarrell, I created this very strong professional network, and as my friends would rise through the ranks, so did I. And so now a lot of my friends are in fabulous positions. They run companies. They have positions of power, many of them. A number of them have gone on to become very, very successful. And, you know, it's a great position to be in, but it requires maintaining and cultivating relationships. And it's very much a people business.
Right.
So I think that's something important for your listeners to be aware of.
Yeah, I agree with that. And in the words of my communication studies professor, shout out to David Carlone, it's all about building your social capital, your networking skills, using your resources as a means to an end to get to where you want to go and open up other doors and other avenues.
I think so. I think, and really, I'm actually working on a book, and I think I'm going to put something in it along the lines of good marketing equals good manners. And that means everything that you do, everything that you are, every way in which you present yourself, everything really boils down to good manners. When you behave appropriately and when you exercise the golden rule, which in my opinion is the most foundational rule of all, the golden rule, i.e., do unto others as you would have them do unto you, that's golden. If you can do that and keep that in mind throughout your business and professional transactions, your personal transactions, you're really going to go far, because when you have a sensitivity to what other people are doing or what other people need, and you can provide that as opposed to simply asking the question, what's in it for me, you're going to go a lot further, a lot faster, and people will return your calls and invite you to fun events, and you'll be much more welcome in every circle in which you happen to be.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think has been like the drastic point, because like within the music industry, because back during like the 70s and the 80s, everything was like all well and good and the industry records were selling, but you had the little thing with the network and payola and independent promoters. And now with the internet and with other mediums coming in and taking a hold of what the industry has had a stranglehold on for so long. So do you think that, the gatekeepers will fully come full circle and really embrace the internet and other forms of medium, or what do you think needs to happen?
Well, it doesn't matter whether they embrace the internet or not. The internet is here and it's not going away. That's an interesting question with a complex and a not very easy answer. Now, I got into the record business in the late 80s, and I was there when the CD boom struck. And what happened is, during the late 80s and the early 90s, when the CD really took hold, that was a new configuration that came out, and consumers and music lovers really, really adopted it. It was fabulous, okay? Fabulous, because people were going out, and they weren't only buying new music, but they were replacing all of their old vinyl records, 8-tracks, and cassettes.